Let me flip back over here. All right, I was just going live on the YouTubes. So here we are. Thanks for being here, guys. All right, so I wanted to get comfortable today for today's scripts. So I sat on the couch. Wanting to circle back around with everything that we've been covering up to this point. This is the time in which I'd like to start digging into more detail and even do some additional role play. So the main thing that I would like to lean in specifically on the role play would be, I want to test how well you can segue. My honest opinion is that I think that may be a really, really, really good reason why most people are having a hard time with the scripting portion, because they feel like, when do I flip from, a regular conversation into asking for real estate? I think that that's also the reason why a lot of people, when talking about real estate, will just be like, oh yeah, well, here's my card, right? Give me a call. They want to duck out because they're like, how do I turn this conversation into, real estate related? Oh, that's going to be so predatory and whatnot. So I think that for today, I wanted to practice the segue, not only in the networking script, right? So if you're going, sorry, the cats are really enjoying me being on the couch right now. So they're seeing everything around me and like doing this with it. So I apologize for the background noise. Anywho, the segues I think would be really helpful for us to be able to practice on, not only from the networking perspective, or what I've referenced as the dog walking script, the Uber script, to be able to translate a conversation into real estate. And then also for the database calls that you're making, right? How are you doing? How's there, how are you? How's the family? Cats equals little sharks without fins. Pretty much, Nikki. And as my feet are being attacked, right meow. So the transition also during the database calls to be able to be like, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? How are you in the family? And then segueing that into, so crazy market, huh? So is there anything else that y'all wanted to cover other than us doing a little bit of role play so we can test out each other's segues? Y'all will likely pick up something better that, Rob, Eric, Thornburg, Kevin, or Dave, does. And then you might like Lee, Ricky, or Nikki, or Aaron's better. Who knows, right? I want us to be able to come up with this group creativity. Fair enough? Let's start there then.
Sure.
Cool. So I'm going to just call it random, okay? And would like to see how this goes. So Eric.
How's it going?
It's going well, bud. It's going well. So for you, do you recall what the database script is roughly, or the format to offer to see?
Do your friends know about your current transaction that you're going through?
So that's a great referral script. Okay, so actually, just in case we missed it, because Eric went on this is if you're in escrow, okay? If you're about to open up escrow, if you just had a win with your client, regardless of what that win is, if you've had a win, the script that Eric's about to give you is what we want to do to get additional referrals. Okay, I completely forgot about that script, so thank you for bringing it up, Eric. All right, so let's just say that we saw a property, and I want to ride on this. Okay, I want to ride on this property, and I'm super stoked, Eric. Now is the time, because I'm on a high. I want you to ask me for a referral. So, Eric, man, thank you so much. I think that this is the house that we want to make an offer on. This is it. This has got to be it. We're going to offer our highest and best.
Right, we're going to do it. So, how do your friends feel about it? Do your friends know what you're going through?
Oh, yeah. No. I've been telling everybody that, we're definitely on the hunt for a new home.
Right. Let me think. Do your friends, would you like your friends to feel the same way you do?
Okay. Well, what do you mean?
Like how good you're feeling and how well of a job you're doing at getting through this transaction.
All right. Let's stick back to the script, because we're about
to.
Yeah,
I'm not using the script. I'm going off my cuff right now.
Oh, okay. All right. So Kevin, I just saw your note here, bud. So yeah, I won't call on you. All right. So thank you for the heads up. All right. So does anybody want to refresh our memory for the referral script?
I can do that.
All right, go for it, Dave. So same thing, right? Dude, I'm super stoked. Thank you so much, Dave. This is the house we want to write our highest and best.
Awesome. Let's do it. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, how many of your friends know that you're in escrow? Or I'm sorry, we haven't run escrow yet. How many of your friends know that you've been looking for a home? And
quite a few, actually. I've not been shy. I've been kind of keeping all my sphere and database and stuff like that. I've been keeping them all in the loop with my journey.
Awesome. Any of them express an interest in doing the same?
Actually, yeah. My friend Sarah at work was talking about that. When her lease is up, she actually wants to move forward with getting a place.
Oh, that's great. Do you think she would trust me to help her out with this?
I don't see why not. You've been fantastic.
Great. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you. And great. Could you set us up in a 3-way text so we can just meet and greet kind of a thing?
Yeah, no, not a problem at all.
That would be awesome. I really appreciate that.
That's it. Sarah Smith, I want you to use that script today when you talk to your client. Sarah had a huge win with a friend that ironically I think only showed 2 properties and is in escrow on the second one. And I was like, man,
Yeah.
Sarah, you are blessed because that ain't happened for most of us. So Sarah, do you want to review that script? Just because I know for a fact you just opened up an escrow.
Let's do it.
All right. So Sarah, this is super exciting. Thank you so much for letting me know that our offer got accepted. Oh my gosh, this is fantastic. And this is not what I expected.
Of course. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So how many people know that you have been shopping around for a house?
Oh my God. Who doesn't know that I've been shopping around for a house?
Are you excited to tell them that you finally found one?
Yes. I'm probably going to make it. Well, I don't know. Do you think it's a little premature to post on my Facebook quite yet?
I mean, you can always say that you're going into escrow. That way, it's not, hey, I've bought the house. It's, we're in escrow, and that gives you a little bit of a buffer.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be fine though, because it's an exciting accomplishment,
Yeah, it's super stoked. Okay, well, I'll do that later on today then.
Awesome. So has anyone else mentioned that they're wanting to potentially buy now that, you've talked about it and you're going to be a homeowner? Actually,
yeah, my brother Eric was talking about that. He was seeing how my experience was. And shoot, this has been so seamless. I think that, I'm going to be telling everybody about you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Do you know what his timeline is to buy?
We didn't really get into that too much.
Okay, awesome. So do you think that he would trust me to help him with that transaction when it does come time for him to get ready to buy?
There is no doubt, Sarah. There is no doubt.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, feel free to pass my number along. What? It's been a while about it.
No. You're good, darling. You're good. The reason why I'm grumbling and doing all these things with my face is because what you just did is the equivalent to saying, here's my business card. Call me.
I know. I mean, sorry, this is also a friend of mine. So I'm I would trust, but what's the, set up a 3-way text. Okay.
There you go. Thank you, Jose.
Got it.
Yep. Yeah. So, hey, just put us in a group chat, right? Because that's going to sound better than put us in a 3-way text. So basically what we're doing from here is that is the referral script. Okay. So whenever you're in escrow, not even if you're in escrow, after you have a win, after your client is excited, the heightened piece, great. Hey, are your friends and family members excited for you? Yeah. Awesome. Right on. Well, how many of them have expressed an interest and wanted to hop on the real estate bandwagon? Oh, they have. Cool. I mean, do you think that they would trust me to help them out with their needs? Oh, thank you so much for that. Well, yeah. Well, why don't you just do this? I mean, regardless of their time frame, just put us in a group chat real quick. That way they have my information. I can touch base with them. We can set up a game plan. Is that cool? Awesome. Hey, thank you so much. All right. Now let's go ahead and get to grinding. We got this escrow open. Let's rock and roll. Right? That's when it's natural. That's the reason why you're going to get referrals from it. Because these are people that it's that emotional proximity. It's on tilt, right? When people are excited, they're agreeable. Let's just put it that way. When people are super excited, they're just agreeable. It is what it is. We're not taking advantage of it because it's not like you're a crappy agent. All you're doing is saying, hey, do you think they would trust me? Put me in contact. Awesome. So now the script for the database calls. Okay. Remember, the database calls start out, oh my gosh, the database calls start out with basically just doing a care call and saying, hey, how are you doing? What's up? How's the family? We're about to open up here. You know, are you excited to get out and about? And then you segue into the question about saying, hey, well, are you familiar with what's going on in the market? Yep. Basically, more people are surprised to find that they've gained more equity in 1 year, this past year alone, than they have in like the past 3 years combined. So that being said, are you curious to know what your home is worth now versus when you bought it? That is the meat and potatoes right there. Okay. That is the primary question that you're asking in that moment. Somehow segueing from how are you and the family? How are you doing? Just checking in with you. Awesome. Segueing into the market being crazy, right? The examples that I've used before is saying, oh yeah, I think that people were going stir crazy and now everybody's wanting to just, you know, get out and about, probably contributing to the reason why the market is what it is, right? If you want to go into a little bit more depth, why not articulate and saying, well, yeah, now that people are, you know, finally getting out of quarantine, they're either figuring out one of two different things. They don't want to be in the place that they were cooped up in, or now's the time in which they actually want to enter the real estate market. Yet no one wants to sell, and here we are, right? If you want to do that, that's going to be your, you know, your initiative if you want to. But otherwise, I'd say just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Just saying, oh yeah, well, you know, a lot of, oh my gosh, shoot. I see him, Eddie. That it's like, oh, it's just super crazy right now. You know, but here's the thing is that the reason why it's so crazy is so many people are surprised to realize that they've gained more equity in this past year alone than they have in like numerous years combined before that. They're like, oh my gosh, it's nuts. Well, yeah. So I mean, shoot, would you be curious to know how much your home is worth now versus when you first purchased it? Who's going to say no? All right, Mehdi, go for it. Sorry, bud.
So yeah, so that sounds great. A lot of people on my database are people I met like at the open houses and things like that are just around that were looking to buy houses. So what kind of script can I use for them? Obviously, I don't want to tell them that the house prices have gone way up in the last year.
Yeah, it's nuts, guys. Can you believe that the median home price has gone up at least $100,000? Dang, y'all, you should enter the market. Yeah, maybe not. However, what you would want to do is, and great question, if you do have mostly buyers in your database, flip the script. If your value is not going to be a CMA, then the value is to see the options now compared to when the interest rates will be adjusting. So essentially what that would kind of look like, Mehdi, is it's the same lead up, right? Oh my goodness, you know, this market, you know, oh yeah, well, people are really going stir crazy, right, Mehdi? You know, everybody wants to now get out of their homes, right? Now, I think that's also what's contributing to the way the market is right now. Have you heard about what's going on? And then
No, I haven't actually. I haven't been paying attention since this quarantine started.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of put that house buying on the side.
Oh, fair enough. No, absolutely. Like it's got to be your faith in your, you know, family and your health absolutely comes first. Yeah. I think really honestly from what I'm noticing is that there's more people out there wanting to purchase than there are people wanting to sell. But here's the thing. I think the feds are going to want to correct this issue about the you know, prices going so high. I'm already starting to see the interest rates starting to rise. You know, Mehdi, are you familiar with how that may affect your flexibility and purchase power in the future?
Not really, but I know I'd rather have a low interest rate.
Well, absolutely, right? The low interest rate. And so just as a general rule of thumb, a lot of times for every 1% increase in interest rates, you'd lose about 10% of your purchasing power. Just while you're kind of getting out there and in the open, would it be helpful if we were to kind of do some projections based on different areas, have a conversation about what your options are now to see maybe if we can reassess your timeline?
You know, I'm not sure yet because I hear that there's so many buyers and the prices have gone like way through the roof. I think I'd rather wait for the prices to come down again.
Absolutely. No. And that may be in your best interest, right? That may be in your best interest, but have you really taken into consideration how that may affect your flexibility?
What do you mean by flexibility?
Well, so typically, because you just mentioned that you like the lower interest rate, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, what,
When the price
I
is,
also want a low price. I want
oh,
low interest rate and a lower price.
you know, I would love to have cake and ice cream and eat it too. However, in this type of situation, are you familiar with the inverse relationship between the prices and the interest rates?
Not really. I mean, if you want to explain that to me, yeah, I'll meet with you.
Sure,
I'd rather
sure.
get more information.
Absolutely. So let's do this. Are you mostly available in the mornings or afternoons?
I like mornings better. By
Perfect.
afternoons, I'm
5
already
a.m.
too busy
tomorrow.
with what I do. So mornings are good.
Perfect. So again, that was a very,
Thank you.
of course, yeah, Mehdi. So that was a very unscripted script. But Mehdi, what was the main value point that you were picking up from that conversation?
That there's an inverse relationship between interest rates and prices, and that I have nothing to lose by meeting with you, so I can gain more knowledge. So also, I just need a better understanding of what's happening in the market right now.
Yeah. So it's just basically whenever you're having these conversations with people, it's just going to be leaning into saying, and what was the main question that I kept on asking to elicit the doubt? Because Mehdi would say something. Yeah. So Nikki, what do you mean by?
You kept flipping the script, so you would address it if they were concerned about I want to wait for the prices to go down. You would let them know I hear you, but what would be the problem if that happened? So you were still addressing the problem regarding what direction they were going.
Right. It's like, and I think that that's the main thing. And this is something that it's from an improv. Anybody that's ever done kind of, theater or improv, it's the yes and, right? Yes, and, I'm thinking for prices to drop. Okay, yeah, that is certainly an option. And at the same point in time, though, but by waiting, do you understand how that may affect your flexibility and your options in the future? Right? Because that's the reality, is that now we're talking about if a person wants to buy $1 million property, at a 2.5% interest rate for $4,000 a month. Okay, if they wait, then that $4,000 a month monthly payment at a 3.5% interest rate, right? It just ticked up. Now I can only afford about $900,000, which once I could afford $1 million property when the interest rates were 1% lower. So that's something that, and for those that are like, how does that work? If you're paying more of your monthly towards the bank than towards your principal, right? That's the way to kind of assess why you lose the purchasing power. So just by one, and this is a rough estimate, don't pretend to be a lender, right? For any lending questions, Eddie's here, right? So that's the whole thing that you want to lean in on. But these types of conversations, just like we're having with Mehdi, is he's like, I'm waiting for the prices to drop. Absolutely, right? And that is that is certainly an option. However, have you taken into consideration how that may affect your options in the future, though? Well, what do you mean? Well, I mean, we can dig in a little bit deeper to see what the baseline is now, what your options are, and then assess if it's in your best interest to wait. Best case scenario, you realize you have more flexibility now. Awesome. Worst case scenario, maybe it doesn't make sense to move forward and let's just sit tight. But either way, more information couldn't hurt, right, Mehdi? So, Mehdi, go for it.
Oh, Stephen, so I have one other question. So I've been reading, just because I'm kind of a nerd, I've been reading a lot about different reports. We did different, I do this because I also buy and sell stocks. So a lot of projections that I've been reading in relation to the real estate market here in Southern California is that the prices are going to dramatically increase again in 2021. That they're going to go much higher, like up to like 10% higher within the next 12 months. So no one has a crystal ball, but it's just a lot of people seem to be leaning in that direction because inventory is so low. Can we use that also to motivate people to buy now? I mean, how much will the prices decrease in a couple of years if they're going to keep increasing even more this year? Like that kind of analogy. We're not seeing any signs of prices decreasing. We're only seeing signs of them increasing. Like I remember because Ashley, I love her so much.
Yeah.
She says, she's like one of my all-time favorites. She said though at the meeting on Wednesday that people who buy now instantly will get equity.
Yep.
At least that's what I heard because
Yep.
the prices are increasing. So I used that on one of my buyers yesterday when I was calling, and he got really interested. First, he said, absolutely no way, I'm not looking to buy right now. But then I explained to him how the prices are probably going to increase this year. That's what all the charts are saying. So he was like, oh. So what is that a possibility? You don't like the idea?
I know. Can you tell? It's
No.
not that I don't like the idea. Eddie, what are your thoughts? Like, because I think that in all honesty,
dude, I've been in finance for 20 years, man. You can't ever promise anybody a direction of any asset ever. You can't. You have no control over it. You can't. If they do this, then you will get that. If in the future, prices do continue to increase as they have, but historically speaking, over the past 50 years, on a very conservative plane in San Diego, they've always gone up. 2% over the past 50 years is approximately the average. I stay super conservative when I'm promising people something and I'll tell people, especially right now, look, if you're buying a home, I understand home prices have gone up significantly, but at the same token, if you're going to be in the place for 10 years, you'll ride out whatever kind of wave that's coming our way.
Right.
So it's okay to do that, but to promise someone that prices are going to continue increasing.
I don't mean to promise. I'm saying, well, that's, a lot of people are speculating that. So what if you wait and then the prices are higher next year?
Well, and Mehdi, actually, this is a really good, I feel like we're in the talking heads section, where we're kind of like, yeah, but however this about the housing market, this is very news-ish.
Okay.
But no, but this is good. I actually like this format, right? Because other people are like, oh yeah, what about this? What about this? The long and the short, Mehdi, is that regardless of what people are projecting, there is always going to be a checks and balance system. Regardless of what things are trending towards, we operate in a W-shaped market.
Sure.
Once we peak, now the piece that your sources, right, that you've been researching are saying that we have not reached the peak yet. All right. I don't know. So that could be the reason why, if let's just say that we're here, maybe the tipping point is here. So correct. Those projections would insinuate the prices are going to continue to increase, right? So from purely the standpoint of we haven't reached the peak of the market yet. But here's my question to you. How do you know when we've reached the peak of the market?
Well, I guess I would know when the prices start going down, for one.
Yep. So take it from that perspective as far as missed opportunity.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Is that it's kind of like, could prices continue to increase, right? Absolutely. All that means is that, is it going to continue to increase for another 2 years? Nobody knows. And I think what I'm just personally, Stephen, and I don't know how much weight that carries, is that I'm already starting to see, Eddie, correct me if I'm wrong, are interest rates starting to creep up, or are they plateaued? What are interest rates doing?
They crept up and then they've gotten better over the past couple of weeks.
Okay.
So we actually hit 2-month lows yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So they have gotten a little bit better, but again, look, you guys, we're at 3%. I mean, 3% is free money to borrow $500,000, $1 million. I mean, when I sold cars, I was like 2.99. We've got a special going on. You can buy a house for 2.99. I mean, so in the grand scheme of things, rates will go up. We're a lot closer to the bottom than we are at the top with rates.
Yep.
So you can play it from that perspective and say it from that angle. And when rates do come down, prices may stabilize, but we're in such a unique supply issue that it's not going away. The prices are not going to dip. They might flatten out, but they're not going to crash.
No, because we're
not
going
to happen.
Yeah, it's going to peak at some point, and when we start doing this, interest rates are going to do what? Correct. As the price points continue to drop, what are the interest rates going to do, right? And then once it bottoms out, it'll go here. So it'll start down here, go all the way up, go here, and it'll peak again, and then do this. Nikki.
Why would the, oh, sorry.
Oh,
Just to piggyback on what you're talking,
Go ahead, Nikki.
just to piggyback on what Steven's talking about right now, I use that analogy all the time to great success, but I do it literally. So when somebody says, well, I want to wait for the the prices to drop, I go, totally understand, completely wouldn't fault you for that. Tell me when that's going to be. I ask them that, and then I give them a piece of paper. I don't know if you can see, I have my goofy green screen that I'm apparently not doing well. Okay, we'll give him,
you're holding up the sunset.
Okay,
right?
let's pretend this is a piece of paper. I literally give them a piece of paper and a pen. Okay, and I say, I'm gonna tell you, here's that roller coaster. Okay, these rates are, the market's going up and up and up and up and up and up, and you want to wait for that market to drop. Okay, tell me when that market's going to drop. Stop. I said, tell me to stop when it starts going. So when I go up there, they're waiting and waiting and waiting, and I go down really sharply, and they go, stop, and I go, wow. So you missed out on all of this up here. As far as sellers wanting to sell at top, same thing with buyers. You just do it in reverse. It's like, when is it going to drop? You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. And you're going to miss the boat playing let's make a deal versus looking at the reality of right now. Even when it does drop, the rates are going to go up. So really, it's a crapshoot. It's one way or the other. So let's just get you into the best house now, because we know as long as you're not moving in 2 years, you're always going to make money in San Diego.
Yep. This goes back to, and Dave, I'm going to call on you in a hot second, because I do want to hear what you have to say, or the questions you're going to ask, is that Mike Ferry, right? Anybody that followed Mike Ferry, this was one of the most highly utilized scripts, at least that I can remember, mostly with people speculating, right? And even Kevin was saying, hey, he's got some leads right now that are like, should I wait? Should I wait? Should I wait? Mike Ferry said it very simply, right? Mehdi, I appreciate that. Eric, I appreciate that. Kevin, I appreciate that you're wanting to wait, right? However, what do we know more about? Today's current market or the market in the future? Now, that being said, right, with you taking a gamble on the largest asset, all right, is that something that you're really wanting to gamble, or are you wanting to make more specific, make a decision with more specific information, right? So that second part, I don't know if that's Mike Ferry. It's just that what I naturally kept on doing. So I'm like, okay, here's a double blind. Do we know more about today's current market or the market in the future? And then you lean in by saying, well, essentially making a gamble, making a decision with your largest asset, is this really something that you're wanting to make a decision based on, sometimes I've said, speculation or feedback, right? Do you want to make a decision based on speculation or based on factual information? Are you wanting to, so you're asking these people these questions. And so the reason why I'm taking more of a moment to pause on this, guys, not only because I'm sure that some of y'all want to avoid the role play section, which we're still going to get to, I have not forgotten, but it's also because when we're talking about, moving a person forward, the last thing that you want to do is tell a person what they should do. The last thing you need to do is tell a person what they should do, right? Oh, the market, I'm going to wait for the prices to drop, right? As Mehdi said. For me to come in and say, they ain't going to do that anytime soon, bud. You should go ahead and look for, move forward now. It's like, he'll be like, screw you, Steven. Versus if I were to be like, no, fair enough, dude. That may be in your best interest. However, do we know more about today's current market or the market in the future? Current market, yeah. And that being said, if you're basically making a decision in regards to your largest asset, would you want to make that decision based on speculation or more facts and figures? Facts and figures. Okay, good. When can we talk a little bit more about that? Talk about what we've been seeing in the market and compare that with what the interest rates are doing. Marry the two. Maybe we might be able to come up with more of an educated projection based on your needs and what you're looking for in the market. Is that fair? Right? Now I'm making it your idea. Now I'm making it your decision, right? Dave, sorry about the delay.
No problem. This is good information. I just have a question about the interest rate. So I understand that, okay, if interest rates go up, prices may drop. Pretend inventory wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
Interest rates go up, prices could go down because it's more expensive and less people want to buy, so supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how, if prices started to drop, why interest rates would rise. I always think, okay, there's less demand for the loans, so why would they jack the prices up for the loans? This is an Eddie question.
Because home mortgages are like bonds, right? And homes are like bonds, so there's an asset. right? And then there's interest rate, and those prices have an inverse reaction to the rates, right? So if you take a look at any bond, when the prices
understand
drop,
bond.
the yields go up, and vice versa. When the prices go up, the yields go down, right? So if your interest rate is dropping, your prices are going to continuously artificially go up.
Yeah.
So
Well, they artificially go up, but
it's
like
an
what?
inverse economic relationship between the two.
All right, so it's just so if house prices drop significantly, then interest rates automatically go up.
Not necessarily.
Not automatically per se. However, it's historically speaking, there has rarely been a time. I'm trying to think. The only time that I've been in an actual bubble was when I think it was in 2015 or 2016, in which home values were still high and interest rates were still low. Right, Nikki, you're nodding your head because I know that a lot of people.
2012 was a good year too.
What's that?
2012 was a really good year too,
Yeah,
where the prices
yeah.
had dipped out and the rates had come down. But the rates, understand that the rates are being manipulated by the government, right?
Exactly.
The feds control how much money they're pumping into the economy, which drives down rates. Now they've, not now, but I mean, in 2007, they started buying all the bonds and financing their own debt. So all that is really driving like 10-year bonds, which is driving the mortgage rates. So it really, a lot of interest rates are manipulated by the Federal Reserve, and that's to spur the economy. But unfortunately, like it's spurred the economy so much now that they still have to. There's so many 10 million people are unemployed.
Right.
But again, it's has almost an adverse effect on housing because again, it's so cheap to buy a house. Everybody wants to do it now. Now is the time because money is cheap.
Yep.
That makes sense. And so the demand has just gone through the roof. All the supply got eaten up, and so now we can't catch up with the supply.
I would say.
Sense?
Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, cool. Yeah, because it's like, and just in a frame of, and I would love to stand to be corrected because I'm not saying this is just out of my, my experience, is that anytime that there's been like the most recent one that I remember was 2016, I think 2016 or 2017 is when the prices were still high. Interest rates were pretty much we're in the same situation that we're in now. The home values were high, but the interest rates were incredibly low, but they weren't this low. And it only took maybe about 3 to 6 months for basically the prices to start to drop. And then that's when, again, like what Eddie was talking about back in 2012, the prices were lower, the interest rates were lower. That probably only lasted for maybe about 3 to 6 months until we start noticing an actual correction, right? That as the prices are going to go up, interest rates go down, or as the prices continue to drop, right? Going on that roller coaster that Nikki.
Hey, buddy, you froze.
Right here at the same point. Interest rates. What's that?
Oh, maybe it was just me.
No, you're frozen for a few seconds.
Everybody else
No, it
moved,
froze for
and
me.
you froze. I didn't know if it was just me.
No. I was watching Eddie, seeing he's moving. Okay, it's not my computer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was the
See you,
cats.
Rob. Yeah. And then Rob
It
is
was
just
the
freezing
cats.
himself. Love the brows, man.
Thanks.
So that's what I would say is that think of it from like I don't know if you ever nerd out. Okay, so Marvel, y'all know I love Marvel, but the convergence, right? So when all the planets are aligned and then like all this mystery and everything like that can happen. All right, look at the convergence between prices and interest rates. Interest rates, prices. They're going to be, as one's doing this, you're going to notice this kind of balance effect. So there's only a certain period of time in which they're right in the same window until they pass each other again. Right? So that's something that whenever we're right here in this little tickle zone, that sounds really weird. But as the interest rates are correcting right here in the spot when they're meeting up, that's your window of best opportunity. And if you notice, that's the reason why when we first got out of quarantine the first or second time, I'm not sure, I can't count anymore. But there was a big surge of the interest rates were the lowest that they've ever been. and then people then started getting savvy to putting their home on the market. That was when they were matched up together. What's happening now? Guess what? Interest rates are still climbing. So we've already missed that window in which the prices are reasonable and the interest rates were still low. Now, all those people that said, oh, I want to wait until we fully open, yeah, how's that working out for them?
So there will be a time when prices actually do drop lower.
Drop. And I say drop because is it going to bottom out? No. Are we ever going to crash again? No. Knock on wood right now, but no, not based on any kind of projection. What I think will happen is that as we get some surge of an inventory, that will be the way that we're projecting that prices will drop, is meaning that as inventory does become more available, whether it be foreclosure, short sales, the people that are coming off of forbearance, anything like that, who knows, right? Who knows? But whenever there is more of a surge in the inventory, they're going to have to remain competitive with the other people that are also in the market, right? So that's what it's going to mean. I don't know if it's going to be so much of a price drop as much of a price plateau. That's what I'm kind of suspecting, is that
or less growth.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, that's when on that roller coaster, right? You know how whenever you're about to go over the hump, it's, goes tick, 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 and then it bottoms out very quickly, right? That's real estate. So I'm glad that so is this conversation helpful, Mehdi? Like, this is the reason why we all collaborate, because you ask one question and it spurs an entire conversation, right? Where now you get a bunch of context and information. So cool. I'm great. What? I have to toss my hair ties for the cat because she plays fetch and is bringing it to me and putting it on my lap. So if you ever notice me distracted, please forgive me. My cat's adorable. So now let's do some role play. Yeah. Rob, since I'm digging your new look, you're looking solid, man. I'm loving it. Are you pretty familiar with the database calls? Like, as far as,
yeah, you're saying like, hey, just touch a base with you. How's the family? The forward conversation kind of.
Yep.
And you just sag into, hey, yeah, it's like, so, ouch, I just lost my train. Hold on.
You're good. Give me the format first, right? So you're right. So
yeah, so you're just calling your database. Hey, it's Rob. Checking in, see how you and the family are doing.
Yeah, we're solid. We're doing well. Super stoked that things are starting to open up again. Downtown feels like downtown again.
Oh yeah, I bet you're crazy, ready to get out and start tearing up the town, right?
100%. I've been watching all the crazy people on the street from my balcony. Now I get to walk amongst them.
It's a weird feeling almost, but yeah. So
speaking of crazy people downtown, I'm just kidding. See, this is why we're working on the segue. Right? So let me give you a more realistic response, okay? So we can actually do a legit role play. So yeah, man, it's like we've been, living downtown. The whole reason why is because we love the restaurants and the whole vibe. So it's like we've been itching to just go out to dinner. We've been, wanting to get back out there.
Right. I get the same feeling. Yeah, I'm tired of doing takeout and eating in my car. So yeah, have you noticed the real estate market lately?
Well, in what regards? I mean, I've been hearing that it's absolutely nutso, but
yeah, it's I know I'm a realtor, and let's talk about real estate, but yeah, like the market right now, prices are going up and up, and equity. People have got more equity in the past year than they have in the last several years combined.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I mean, so I didn't realize. Well, what is that from?
Well, what it's from is just there's so much demand
Mm-hmm.
buy homes, but not too many people are putting their homes in the market. So hence, homes that are on the market they're shooting through the roof, multiple offers, way above asking price.
Oh, got it. Got it. Oh,
And so what does that do for your equity?
well, yeah. I mean, well, I'd imagine that it's just like people just built it all up, you know?
Oh, yeah. So have you ever considered how much equity you may have since you bought your home?
Honestly, man, I haven't looked into that recently, but I mean, we only bought it maybe 3 years ago.
I mean, 3 years ago, yeah. So have you considered, finding out how much equity you do have and, see what kind of flexibility you may have?
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't hurt. I'd be kind of stoked just to see what things are, what mine would sell for. I mean, I don't plan on moving, but
Oh, sure. But, it's always good to have that flexibility, right?
yeah, that's fair.
In case your plans change. So how about do mornings or afternoons work for you?
There you go.
Together and see what kind of equity you have.
There you go. There you go. Very nicely done. Okay. I don't know where this has been,
Sound like a bunch of recycling.
but it's been found. Christmas ornament. It's found now.
I'm dying.
I know. I'm telling you, anybody that knows our cats, they're cute, but dang. So great job. So how was that segue? What did Rob do to segue it into the conversation about the market?
He just jumped in. He asked if you're aware of how the market is.
Yep. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's Nikki, would you mind kind of sharing a nice little segue? So just remember, friend, how's things? How's the family? Doing good?
Okay.
Awesome. Market. More people have gained more equity in the past year than in the many years combined. Can you believe that? Not so. Are you curious to know how much more value you have in your home versus when you first purchased it? Rob positioned it as how much more equity. I'm saying, hey, are you curious to know what your home is worth now versus when you first purchased it? Nice. So, and then offer me a CMA.
Okay, so you are the seller.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm in your database.
Okay, you're in my database. Hey, Steven, how's it going?
It's going well, Nikki. How are you?
Oh, wait, sorry.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay, so apparently when I shut my clamshell to my earbuds, it turns them off. So I had no
Oh.
idea what you just said.
Oh, well, I said I'm doing very well. And you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you. I mean, now that I have all this time on my hands and hundreds of hours of just going through my database, I thought, who haven't I talked to in 100 years? So I just wanted to see how you're doing.
Oh, it's good to hear your voice.
Crazy times.
I know, right? Yeah, we've been doing pretty well. Super grateful that things are starting to open back up again. Got our
Oh,
vaccine
yeah.
and all good.
Absolutely. You still downtown?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my office is downtown and I'm still in real estate. And I was just saying like, wow, what a crazy market it is right now, right?
Uh-huh. Well, I've been hearing some stuff about the news where it's just like, people are talking about, that the home prices are like out of control. Like I'm hearing a bunch of stuff on the news.
Yeah, it's all true. Because the news never lies, right? No fake news.
Sure.
The thing about that is, I get a lot of questions like every day. Like people are calling me saying, what do you think my house is worth? What do you think my house is worth? Because of all that craziness. And like, how long have you guys been down there now?
About 3 years now.
Okay, so 3 years. Like, do you realize that in the last year, you guys have probably earned more equity than many people have earned in multiple years prior?
No, I mean, I would imagine, but I don't actually know like the logistics behind it or like how much more,
It's crazy, man. Let me just tell you, like the median home price in San Diego has gone from 600 to 710 in 1 year.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just have you guys ever thought about just doing a quick analogy on what your home is worth right now in this crazy market?
no, I mean, I that'd be interesting, but we haven't put the thought into it.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're only there 3 years, but here's the deal. I mean, there's no magic pill for when there's a good time to sell, when there's a good time to buy. It just is that right now, all we know is what's happening this minute is wild. And it would be silly not to take the opportunity to see just kind of what kind of equity you have built and just see what that looks like. I'd be happy to pencil it out for you if you've got a little time this week.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I should be pretty flexible tomorrow.
Oh, awesome. How's late morning, early afternoon, or evening?
There you go. All right. So now what's one piece that to go for the gusto? I love the way that Nikki and Rob phrased it. It's clear, simple, to the point. What's one additional piece that is very important, however you do it, but it's important. There's a second step in here that we want to at least get some engagement from the conversation. Hint, think future pace.
I would say maybe the relationship between interest rates and prices, or
Potentially.
or the relationship between now that we're getting out of COVID, how many more people are going to maybe put their homes on the market.
Okay.
If we're talking about sellers and the prices may go down.
Uh-huh.
If we're talking about buyers, how, if the interest rates change, it would reduce their buying power.
Yeah, we could, what needs, because we're also assuming that when they get that CMA that they would do what?
Blake just put it in the chat.
Where are they going to next?
Yep. I was gonna say Blake is helping us out here, right? So Ricky, so what is the what's the important piece in there? So after we're saying, hey, are you curious to know what your home could, is worth now versus when you first purchased it? Or hey, are you curious to know how much more equity you've gained in just this past year alone as well? So Ricky, after I say, yeah, totally, like, yeah, that'd be cool. What do you ask?
Where to next? We get a number. Where are you going to next?
There you
How do
go.
you consider going next?
Yeah. This is like, no. I love this. No. I know you aren't looking to sell right now, but if you could move, where would you go next? So the reason why you're wanting to ask this now, is because you're planting that seed. You're planting that seed because just like we used beforehand with Andrea, we're like, hey, where would you go on vacation? Paris. I'm like, hey, let's talk about you going to Paris. She's like, all right. Versus me being like, Paris, why Paris? She went into it, talking about it. Guess what? Even after scripts, she made a comment saying, I'm still thinking about Paris. Yes, that's the whole intention, right? That's the whole point. So now if you're saying, so Eric, cool, man. Yeah, I'll throw together some information here. I'm just confirming that I've got your email address correct. I'm just confirming that you're still on 123 Main Street. Any updates that you've done to that property, anything that I should be aware of? Cool. I'm going to put together some information for you. And then is it cool if we talk about it afterwards just to address any questions?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So, hey, just out of curiosity, for my own curiosity, right, is that if I were to be able to present that CMA and there's a number on there that just blows your hair back, like literally blows your mind, where else would you go if not here?
I would probably move out of state.
Move out of state? Any particular location or?
Northern Idaho.
Why there of all places?
I spent a lot of summers up there, and I know that I can get into something really cheap and just live off of the rent that I'm generating from a new like I'd buy another property here and one up there.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like you've got kind of like, so you've got some options on your plate to consider, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, well, okay. Well, how about we do this? Look, I'll just throw together this information here real quick. Are you opposed to meeting up face to face so we can talk a little bit more about that?
Sure, let's meet up.
Cool, right? So why is it that I offer the CMA, he agreed. Why did I want him to talk a little bit more about what he would do?
Motivation.
That's it. That is it, guys, right? Is that now what we're doing is, you know how there's leading questions in court that are actually, they can be omitted? Just like, what's the difference between two statements? Eric, how fast was the car traveling when it collided with you? Versus, Eric, how fast was the car speeding when it hit you?
I get you. The difference between speeding and traveling.
There you go.
An assumptive term. It's
a leading question, right? How fast was the car? It's actually, there's lots of studies about leading questions subliminally, Okay, lawyer Steven, right? Hey, Blake, how fast was the car speeding when it hit you? Right? I'm just kind of like, make no mistake. When I was talking to the cops when Evie got in her little accident, I made sure to filter that sort of stuff in because she was not in the wrong. She had a witness. I was very diligent about saying, do we know how fast they were speeding when they ran the red light? Do we know if they were texting while driving when they when they passed through the red light? Are there any cameras to verify how fast they were speeding? Right?
Good job.
I like to protect.
You're not just saying how fast they were driving. You were saying you're already
Jedi mind
insinuating that
tricks.
they were
How
already
fast were they
driving over the
speeding? Yeah,
speed
when they were
limit.
speeding, I mean, were they texting and driving? Do we have any cameras to show that, you know, how fast they were speeding, or when they ran the red light? You know, they just weren't paying attention.
Did the bottles of alcohol show how much they were drinking?
Could we tell how intoxicated they were when they were speeding and not paying attention while they were texting and driving when they ran that red light? Okay.
Or is there cameras to prove that they threw the bottles out the window?
Yeah, and they hit so many other people. I'm just kidding. Right now we're being silly. Yet that's the reality, is that now, as that leading question goes, it's very subliminal to where you're planting that seed, right? And I love that. It's like your mind is going to start now looking at that CMA from opportunity. Does that make sense? I don't talk to y'all about business strategies until I talk about what with you? Motivation. And I tie that usually to what? I tie that to money. Because I basically say, Mehdi, you want to travel? You're a well-traveled man. You want to do this? You want to focus on luxury? Fantastic. Tell me, what's that going to do for you? What's that going to mean for you? Beautiful. Let's talk about what it's going to take.
So these are all different segues.
Let's talk about what it's going to take, right? So I'm planting that seed. Now I'm exposing all my secrets, right? There's a reason why I want to get you to talk about what you want and why you want it before I talk about what you need to do. Because every single time people are like, what do I need to do to be successful? What does success look like to you? What does that mean to you? Tell me more about that. Oh, you want to do this? Neat. Here's what you need to do. Then they're like, ooh, now they've attributed action to goals.
So you're framing the conversation.
Exactly. It's still leading. I'm still leading a person to be able to say, hey, look, adding 2 to 3 leads per week for 45 weeks will get you a total of 104 leads, or equivalent to about 12 deals, right? I'm totally butchering numbers right now, so don't take that verbatim. But that's the reality that we're kind of looking at here, is if you were to do this for 45 weeks, blah, 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 but I only have that conversation after it's tied to what you want. It's the same thing in this conversation. So let's hear from one more person. I just want to hear that segue, and then that segue into asking where I would go next with the right opportunity. Blake, can I hit on you real quick? Because that's awkward in a public environment. I'll just hit on you in your office, wink, wink. So can I hit you up for some role play here?
There you go.
All right, so you're doing your database calls, and I'll be like, Blake, man, how's it going? It's been a while.
Yeah, Steven, it has been a while, man. How you holding up, brother?
Doing well, dude. Doing well. You know, Evie had to postpone a few of her competitions, but you know, we pushed those out to September, so we're really stoked for that.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I mean, everything's getting delayed right now with, you know, the whole COVID thing. I got these ISAs that are waiting on their license still. Just, you know, with everything's being crazy in the market and just in general, have you seen what's going on with real estate and home prices? Or
I've been hearing a lot about it, but I'm not quite sure. You know, I'm just grateful that I'm not in that mess. So, you know, I'm excited that you actually helped us get this place a few years ago.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And obviously, you know, as your friend and realtor, you know, I just wanted to, you know, follow up, touch base with you and kind of let you know what's going on. Do you have like 5 minutes so we can chat?
Yeah, dude, of course.
Okay, cool. Have you looked at, you know, how the interest rates are trending and how home prices are going up right now?
I know that the home prices are going up. I'm seeing that left and right.
Yeah. So like we sold you that house maybe like 2 years ago. Do you know how much equity you have in the home now?
No, dude. Do you like, have the prices gone up in my area?
Oh, absolutely. They've gone up everywhere. Would it be helpful if I shared with you a CMA? I could email you it real quick. You could just take a look, see what your home's valued at. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, dude, that'd be great.
Cool. Awesome. And, you know, obviously going into the next point is like, you know, with prices going up, how long, I mean, this is a 2-bed, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I know you might, you know, when we first bought this home, you said this was a stepping stone for the next home.
Mhm.
Have you considered how having more equity in your home now could impact your flexibility to getting you to that next step that we talked about 2 years ago?
You know, I really haven't put much thought behind it just because, you know, we haven't really considered moving much.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, you just bought it not too long ago. But if you could move anywhere, where would you go to next?
Honestly, we'd probably want to stay downtown, but just get something with a water view.
With the water view? Okay,
Mhm.
nice. And what's important about that water view?
Well, it's the reason why I moved from, you know, into the coastal area. I love being at the beach, and I figure like how perfect would it be to wind down at the end of the day whenever we have people over, whenever we can have people over, you know, to like be able to chill out on the balcony and just kind of enjoy the view, you know? It's like I just have this connection with the water, so.
Gotcha. No, I mean, we talked about this before, you know, with your connection with the water. You know, so it's more about like being able to decompress, have that sense of entertainment, and have that lifestyle that you can just go down to the beach, right?
100%.
Cool. I mean, if you see a number that just blows your mind away on the CMA, I mean, would you consider maybe looking at different options?
I mean, show me the money first, you know, and then we'll talk.
I'm right there with you, right? So let's go ahead and do this. I'll shoot you a CMA, right? But before I send you it, because it's gonna have a whole bunch of graphs and a bunch of details, I don't want you to get lost in all the analytics. One good time so I can actually review it with you so you can understand what you're reading. Do you know mornings or the afternoons work for you? I mean, it sounds like afternoons if you're, you know, a beach goer. We can even go do it at the beach.
Right? Oh, dude, perfect. So, what are y'all taking away from this? Would anybody be able to tell that Blake was following the script?
No, Blake seemed really natural, like he was talking to his friend, and
yeah.
His segue was about like the economy and the pandemic and things opening up.
Yep, that was his segue.
Nikki's segue was that she lives by, I mean, she works in downtown, which is by the person that she's talking to.
It's like whenever you're relating it. So the thing that I wanted y'all to take away is that when you hear other people role playing, you notice how much more natural it is for each person. So what I share with you, I'm not looking for it to be verbatim at all. In fact, I discourage that. Unless you're like, I like talking like Steven, which is weird. Yet at the same point in time, the main bullet points are what I want you to take away. So you can formulate your own segues. But make no mistake, you're checking in authentically to be like, hey, how are you? How's the family? Right? Good. As things are slowly opening up, you know, at least that's going to be stimulating the economy. You know, I don't know. I mean, it's already going crazy in the real estate market. Are you familiar with what's going on? Right? However you want to segue it into it, make it about real estate and then adding the value, right? Mehdi.
Yeah, also Blake, you know, when he was talking about, oh yeah, the ocean view, the water view being good, you know, for relaxing and entertainment when you have your friends over, because you mentioned that was important to you first. So he was doing a lot of perception checking, which is like reiterating to you what you know, what he heard you say, which would make you ideally feel more connected to him, like he was actually listening.
Yeah.
So he did that in a very subtle, chilled way. And, you know, that was really nice.
Yeah. It's in good observation, Mehdi. I mean that. Good observation because, again, logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. There you go. So
there's a guy. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to stomp on you.
Go for it, Matt.
There's a guy that I follow, and he used to do like relationship and like kind of how to get girls advice, right? And it was a topic that kind of relates to this, and this is where I'm going with it, is that, you know, a lot of guys will go up to like, you know, 10 or 12 different girls in a bar, right? And just hit on them. Hey, you're so beautiful. What's your number? This and that, right? And I'll just wrap it up. But those are the
breaking up.
You're breaking up, bud.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So essentially what he was doing is he was reiterating. So he'd ask the girl 3 questions. He'd go, you know, how old are you? And what's your relationship like?
Oh.
right? Those 3 questions.
What were the 3 questions? How old are
Well,
you? Confirm.
Well, we're so the relationship, right? Because we're at time here, and I love this. Yet still at the same point in time, yeah. Now we just lost Blake, right? Now we are all going to have to wonder, what are the 3 questions, right? It's like, wait, hold on. We can sell real estate and we can take some dating advice.
I don't know. I never thought a smart question would be to walk up to a girl and ask her, "How old are you?"
How old are you?
Yeah, right.
I know that's. I was going to say, hey, but who knows? I'm sure that Blake will be able to bring him back on to finish up that conversation. But the main thing that I want y'all to take away, right, is that to have a conversation, whatever that looks like, just practice those segues. And the only way that you're going to be able to figure out what's clunky and what works is by you actually doing it. So take this time, call through your database, just talk to everybody. The worst case that can happen is that you're like, oh yeah, people have gained more interest, more value. They've gained more equity in the past year than, 3 years before that. They'd be like, well, good for them. I don't own. You don't. Whale. Is this something that you're considering doing in the near future? Tell me more about that. Would you be looking more so for lifestyle or more about, the affordability? Talk to me about that. Cool, got it. Hey, look. And then you go into the conversation. That would be more appropriate to talk more about the interest rates, right? So if they own a home, focus on the equity. If they're looking to purchase or they're renting, focus on the interest rates and potential of missing out. Even if prices start to drop, increase in the interest rates, they lose 10% of their affordability. So hope this helps. I know we got a few role plays in. Yay, so I'm happy. I will see you guys next Tuesday again, and we'll keep these conversations rocking and rolling. Thank y'all. See y'all later.